from the meeting due to a technical problem. Oh no. So it looks like somebody got kicked out of the meeting. Hopefully they'll know to come back. So guys, again, what I want to do is spend a few minutes and talk with you about all the things that I've been learning about the test. Most of this will be generic to all of the tests. And then there will be a couple things that are specific to our test. If this is redundant, oh, here's Jonah. Guys, if the conversation that we're having is redundant, please let me know. But I've had enough students come to me and say that they have no idea what's going on with AP testing. So I thought it would be worth going through and just talking about this in general. So guys, I'm going to share my screen to you. Please ask questions as you need. Don't hesitate to stop me. And oh, Leah, you're back and you're moving.
Yeah, my computer crashed. It was really weird.
Oh no, hey, I had a question for you. How did it go watching the recording of our previous meeting? Did that work out okay?
Yeah, it was
Okay,
totally fine.
sounds good because I'm recording this one as well. Okay, so here we go. I am going to share my screen. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, so guys, you should be able to see my screen now. Let's let this get caught up. And then you should be able to see the calendar. And so where I want to spend our time today is actually right here in this resource list. And this probably looks familiar to you because I actually just added to the resource list that I posted earlier, actually back in April. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to look at the things that I've added to this resource list. And specifically the things that I've added are the things down here at the bottom. I'd like to go through the first three of these with you quickly and then spend some time talking with you about this testing guide. So the first three of these are things that are freely available to everybody, but I just wanted to show you these. So guys, the first one is this. The AP people have put together a playlist of all the things that you need to know relative to taking the test. I've watched most of these. They're helpful. They're very short and succinct. So if you find yourself with questions, I would encourage you to look there. So that was number one. The next thing that I wanted to share with you, where did it go? The next thing I wanted to share with you was actually this. It's a web page from AP, from the AP folks. And you'll notice two things here that I want to draw your attention to. The first thing is this, and this is also in that YouTube playlist I showed you, but it's a 5-minute video on what you can expect when you're taking the test. It talks with you about how to submit answers. It talks with you about what your submission options are. But this is all material that we're going to go over in a minute. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. But then, guys, importantly, the other thing that is here, which is hiding behind this interactive demo link, is actually the practice exam that you can use to make sure that you're ready to go on the test. So I wanted to click on that just briefly. We're not going to go through it, but guys, what you're going to want to do today is click on that link and then notice that the password for this is practice. So you'll just type practice into this space and then it takes you to a generic exam. This is also what the login will look like when you get your e-tickets to actually take the test. We'll talk more about those e-tickets in a minute. But guys, today you're going to want to access this if you haven't yet. Type in practice as your 8-character ID. And if you can't do this, if you can't enter this information and then take the test that's on the back side of this, your computer or phone or whatever you're using is not ready to take the test. So you need to go through and do that to make sure that you're safe and ready for the exam. And if that does fail on you, please let me know so that I can help you get that fixed. Okay, so those are the two things that you want to look at there. And again, those items are behind this exam day experience and demo test. Then, guys, the third link that I want to bring your attention to is this exam day checklist. Guys, what you're going to want to do is access this file and print as many of these as you have tests that you're taking. So for every one of your tests, you want one of these. You want to fill out the top of this probably right now. Put in your AP ID, and then make sure that you just go through this. Make sure you know when your exam is, things like that. This is a great way to stay organized. And then as you continue to scroll down through this, you'll notice that it provides you all sorts of information about what to do during the test, what to do before the test, and then what to do after the exam. So this is definitely somewhere you're going to want to spend, well, you want to print those and make sure you have those filled out.
Correct
So,
me if I'm wrong. Sorry. The
yep.
APID will be on the email they send with the golden ticket. Yes?
Oh, so yeah, and you know what? Actually, Alice, I think that you're right. So that number that I just mentioned is here. Let's go back to this checklist. So this number here, I'm sorry, you're right. So this number here is not your APID number. This number is actually the number off of your golden ticket. You're right. Yeah, thanks for catching that. Did you guys understand that? Did that make sense? Okay. All right. So, guys, with all of that said, let me then go through the information on this testing guide that they sent all of us. And this then is the stuff that I wanted to share with you. And then when we're done with this, we can talk specifically about questions about Chapter 4. So does anybody have anything they want to explore before we go over this little slide deck? Y'all okay? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to not do this through a web browser. Oh, don't do that to me. Hold on just a moment. Sorry, just a second. Okay, here we go. So guys, these are the things that you need to be aware of relative to this test. This is all available through that link. I'm not going to read this to you, but I do want to use this as talking points. I'm going to go through this relatively quickly. Please slow me down if you need. So guys, first of all, this is just an overview of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about exam day tickets, what you need to take the test, the testing demo. We won't talk about world language stuff, and then we'll go on from there. So guys, this then is our layout. So we've got 5 things that you need to think about before taking the exam, what exam day might look like, and then I did a little bit with exam scores and credit, but I took most of that out. So first of all, talking about your E-Day tickets. So guys, 2 days before the test, you will receive an email from the College Board with your exam day e-ticket. And as Alice pointed out, there will be an 8-character number on an 8-character code on there, which will be your admission to the test. Now, guys, they will email these to you, and they're specific to each person. So the trick is if you are not getting emails from the AP people, it means that you probably haven't gone in yet and updated your contact information to be a non-school email address. Make sure that you do that. But if you are not getting your e-tickets or if you're not getting emails from the AP people, don't freak out. These e-tickets will also be available to you through my AP Classroom, and so you'll be able to access them through the website as well. Bottom line is these things land 2 days before the test, and if you don't have access to it either through email or through the My College Board, My AP website, you need to let me know so that we can make sure you get your e-ticket, again, 2 days early. Again, you guys already know this. We know when our test is. These e-tickets are only for the May exam. So guys, this then is the makeup exam schedule. And so we'll talk a little bit right now about the makeup exams. So the way that this works is they're going to be very lenient about who gets to take the makeup exams. Basically, the only reason that they will not accept in terms of allowing you to take a makeup exam is if you just ran out of time. Other than that, it's basically anything goes. Batteries died, house got noisy, you name it. Internet went down, you will be able to take the makeup exam. Also, if you have conflicts or things that will not allow you to take any of these tests, you will automatically get an e-ticket to the makeup exam if you do not use your original e-ticket. That's what this mentions here. So if you don't use your May e-ticket, meaning you never enter that number, you will automatically get a June e-ticket and you don't have to apply for the makeup. Other than that, you will have to apply if you think you want to take the makeup exam. So moving on then. So guys, with all of these exams, please remember that we are on Mountain Time. So as you're reading your exam schedule, you know that our test is at noon on the 14th, but make sure that you're looking at Mountain Time for all of your exams. So guys, that's the fundamentals of the test and how to get into it. I do want to reiterate this with you a little bit. Guys, during the webinar that I was a part of, they mentioned time and time and time again, guys, when you sit down to take this test, these questions are going to be hard. They're going to be perhaps unfamiliar. Their goal is to try to put you in situations where you've got to try to think your way out of a box. So when you sit down to these questions, take a deep breath. When you're not sure where to start writing stuff down. Even if you're typing your answers, have scratch paper available. Even if you're writing your answers, guys, have scratch paper available. Start drawing pictures. But be ready for these questions to feel weird. Again, the idea is that they are not expecting you to get the entire test done. They are not expecting you to get all the question answers you submit correct in order to get a 5. The grading on this is going to be different this year. Really, the only mistake that you can make is if you run out of time. So guys, the first question, again, well, both questions end with 5 minutes to upload your answers. Guys, you got to make sure that in your mind you commit that when that timer turns red and when it's time to upload answers, stop and get your questions uploaded. Remember that the upload does not need to complete before you either move on to the next question or until time ends. You just need to have hit submit within the time given, and then don't close your browser until you get a thing at the end that says, congratulations, you're done with the test. So moving along then from there, just talks about creating a space that's quiet, a space for you to be able to take the test well. So guys, any questions up until there? Realizing I can't see your face, so if you have a question, please unmute. Okay, so then guys, moving along from there, let's talk about how you can submit your answers to the test. And guys, there's 3 ways to take all of these tests. As you notice here on the left, you can copy and paste your answers. Understand that there is a space on the test that looks like you should be able to type into it, but you can't. You can copy and paste into that space, but you can't type into it. So if you want to type your answers, you'll need to have a word processor open, type into that, and then come back and paste into the document. You can also attach answers as docs or PDFs and things like that, or you can shoot photos. of handwritten pages and upload those as well. Again, guys, they're suggesting that for the chem test, their suggestion is going handwritten. But understand, guys, that regardless of the avenue that you choose, there's some work that you need to do ahead of time in order to be ready for this. And I'd like to go over that with you. So regardless of the avenue that you choose, say that you choose to go cut and paste. Then, guys, what you're going to want to do is you are going to open up two windows. In one of these windows, you're going to have the browser where you're taking the test. Strongly suggest that you use Chrome. And then in the second window, you'll obviously have the place where you're going to be typing. Notice that you want these both open on your desktop so that you can see both. But guys, in advance of this, what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to open up your word processor, and at the top of that page, you're going to type in your Apple ID and then your initials. And so what you're going to want to do before you start the test is in whatever word processor you're using, pre-format your documents with your name, or I'm sorry, with your Apple ID and your initials at the top, so that you have those pages ready to go. Now, if you choose to upload documents and attach them, same thing. But in this case, what you're going to want to do, and they go into greater detail with this later, is, guys, what you're going to want to do is set up your documents ahead of time and pre-save them. And when you save them, you're going to want to save them with file names that include your AP ID and what test you're taking, so that they know where these documents are coming from. And notice these are the document types that you can use. And then, guys, again, as I mentioned, you want to create, save, and attach your questions, depending if it's one question or two. But then as you're taking the test, again, you're going to have two windows, one with the test and one again with your word processor, with those files already created and saved in a folder, probably on your desktop, so that you know exactly where to find them, so you can just save them and upload them really quickly. Then, guys, what if you choose to handwrite? Well, if you're going to choose to handwrite, what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to set up, oh, sounds like somebody's clicking in, guys, just a second. All right, so guys, if you're going to choose to handwrite, you are going to want to set up your pages ahead of time. You're going to want to put your ID, your initial, and page numbers at the top of each page. You can only submit, I think it's 5 pages, 1 page per photo. Your responses longer than 1 page, you'll need to attach multiple shots, maximum of 5 per test question. Yeah, so guys, you can upload up to 5 pages. So what I would do is I would get 10 sheets of paper. I would write your ID, your initials, chemistry page 1, chemistry page 2, and at the top of each one of those pages, put this information so that you're all ready to go as you're writing. Then, guys, if that's the way you're going to take the test, you're only going to have 1 page open. They're suggesting that you do the whole test on a smartphone or tablet. I would suggest against that. I would still use a laptop in order to take the test so that you can see the questions more easily, but then have a good strategy figured out for how you can shoot pictures of your answers, move them to your computer, and then upload them from there. So guys, questions there about your options in terms of submitting the test? Be okay? Okay, so then guys, if you do find that you need to take the replacement test for this, all the information that you need for that is right here. The only thing that I want to mention is that you've got 48 hours to request a replacement test. So don't let time go by if something weird happens, and let me know if you need help. Okay, so now talking about the things that you need to know as you're taking, things to do before you take the test. So let's just step through these. And here they are in order, but let's go through them one at a time. Guys, first of all, please go on to the website and make sure that your email address is no longer your school address. Make sure that you've done that ahead of time. Then guys, number 2, make sure that your technology works. The way to do that is by taking the practice test. There's a little more about this here. Again, strongly encourage you to use Chrome. Strongly encourage you to use Google Docs or Word. Understand that you cannot post links to Google Docs as a way to upload your answers. So if you're going to use Google Docs, you're going to have to copy and paste. If you want to attach your answers, and this is for all of your tests, you can attach them as Word files or as PDFs. And those are your two safe options. As if you're going to be handwriting, again, standard size paper. Don't use pen, use pencil in case you do need to erase. Again, 10 pages of paper. You'll notice that they are suggesting this is how you set them up. So question 1, page 2, 3, 4, 5, you get the idea from there. Do this ahead of time. Okay, so then moving along from there, guys, the next thing you're going to want to do is think about taking this demo exam. The link to it was in that other resource. You guys, make sure that that works. Now, this is important. Guys, make sure that you see this. What do you need, in addition to everything we've talked about, what do you need on exam day? And most of this stuff is on the checklist. You need your ticket. You need your exam day checklist. But the thing and obviously your tech and all of that stuff. But guys, you'll notice that this list also includes test-specific information. And I want to stop and look at chemistry. You'll notice that all of this is here for all of the classes. But guys, notice for chemistry, you need a periodic table and you need an equation sheet. You need a calculator. And then guys, you need, if you're going to type, keyboarding tips for how to type in math equations. Again, I would encourage you not to do that, but if you choose to, it's up to you. Because you do need a periodic table. And frankly, what I would do is I would use your good one. Don't use, unless you're more comfortable with it, don't use the stripped down one. Use the one that you got before. If you need help with that, I can help you get a copy, or frankly, you can find bootleg copies of it online that you can print. And then you need your equation sheet, and there's a link to that in our resources. But guys, I would scroll through this for all of your tests and get a better sense of what it is you need in order to be taking not just our test, but all of them. Okay, so scrolling through the rest of those, guys, a little note about what you can use on the test. You'll notice that you can use class notes, study guides, textbooks, previous assignments, you name it, you can use it. But guys, I would strongly, strongly, strongly encourage you not to do that. You're going to spend more time digging through your class notes, trying to figure out how to answer, well, trying to figure out where you've seen these questions before, than you are going to benefit from that process. Certainly that's different in other classes, but for us, guys, our questions are so open-ended that the time that you invest in finding answers in textbooks or in homework, it's not going to be worth your time because you're not going to get done with the exam. So guys, I would encourage you to not plan on using class notes, study guides, textbooks for our test. Take this test as if it were just in class. It will definitely be to your benefit. But regardless, guys, understand you can't be Googling answers to questions regardless of the test. Okay, so moving along, May 4th, we will have access to the practice exam. That's today. Then notice that you will be receiving your e-tickets a couple days before the test begins. And then, guys, finally, the checklist that you need for the test. So finally, on exam day, guys, this is important. Guys, plan on 30 minutes before the test. getting in there and getting ready for the test. So our test is at noon. So at 11:30, you want to check in for the test. Then at noon, the first question appears. Guys, understand, if your clock turns noon and you don't yet have access to the question, your clock doesn't start until you can see the question. So 25 minutes to answer the question, 5 minutes to submit your answer, then 15 minutes to answer the next question, 5 minutes to submit your answer, for a total of a 50-minute test. Guys, again, once you hit submit, well, not again, once you hit submit, you will not be able to see the next question until all 30 minutes have gone by. What you're going to see on this timer is it's actually a 30-minute timer that turns red at 5 minutes. And again, you got to discipline yourself to start submitting your answer at 5 minutes. But you won't be able to see the next question until that time goes by. So don't think you can hurry to the next question. So guys, when you're taking your test, you got to find somewhere quiet. Strongly encourage you to kick your siblings off of Netflix and Fortnite and other streaming things that take up bandwidth, just to make sure you don't run into hiccups. Guys, understand that they are watching. Don't do stupid stuff during the test. Then guys, this is stepping you through some of the things that we've already talked about, what the test is going to look like, entering your ID, handwriting. Notice at the top they've got their number and their initials. The timer will turn red when you hit 5 minutes. It talks with you about how to submit your responses. And guys, I know I'm going through this quickly, but what I want to do is show you a better way to look at this. So what happens if the test gets weird? This talks with you about how to get a request for makeup. And then guys, finally, this is a note about your scores. They should be available on about the 15th. And again, they're saying that all universities are planning on taking scores. So guys, the last thing I want to mention before we talk about homework is this last idea. The thought was, what is it actually going to look like to take the test? And this is the best explanation that I found. Sorry, I did that too quick. Guys, if you look on our resources page, which is here, if you look on our resources page where it says exam day experience, it's a 5-minute video. And guys, if you'll watch this video down here, oh no, I'm sorry. Let me do this again. So here and exam day. So guys, if you'll watch this 5-minute video, it does an amazing job of walking you through what it's going to feel like to take the test. And then notice there's also a link there to allow you to take the demo test. And guys, please do that today and let me know if you have problems. So, holy smokes, guys, that probably felt a lot like drinking from a fire hose, but I wanted to make sure you had all that information in your lap. So guys, what questions do you have generally about the test or other things about our class, AP stuff, you name it, and then we'll answer questions about homework.
I have a question. Do you know if submitting questions in the test is going to be like our progress checks where each question has a different file submission, or like the optional practice questions where the whole question is submitted through one file? Yeah,
good question. And the answer is they will be submitted in their entireties. So if you have a question 1 that's parts A through E, you'll submit that as one big thing. So if you're copy and pasting, you'll go 1A, you'll answer that, kind of like we do when we do this in class. 1A, answer the question. 1B, answer the question. The only place where this is a little different, Caleb, is if you're handwriting. I would be really surprised if you don't run onto multiple pages. Guys, write big. As hard as it is to read some of your handwriting, imagine if it's small and it's a photograph. Guys, write big, write legibly. Um, but understand in that case, Caleb, you'll have multiple pages. I would encourage you to not break an answer to a question around a page. So if you know you're getting to the bottom of page 1, start the next question at the top of page 2. But that's the only time where you'd have more than one submission per question, is if you have multiple pages and you're taking pictures.
Okay.
Does that make
Makes sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, other questions about all of this mess? You guys okay? Okay, so guys, let me mention one more thing. Going over here then, you'll notice that today we've got Unit 5, which is over kinetics. Guys, for this Unit 5 question, we are going to do the progress check. I know that I said that we were considering switching to doing more of the green dot questions, and there are some green dot questions over Unit 5. For Unit 5, I chose, we're just going to stick with the progress checks. We may switch thermo over to some of the green dot questions, but for Unit 5, we're just going to do the progress check. And again, remember that's due tomorrow night by midnight. So guys, that's what I wanted to talk with you about the test. And then also about the homework. So in my mind, the only thing that we're lacking is answering questions about Unit 4 progress check questions, which I'd love to do with you if you'd like. Along the way, if other questions come up, let me know. But questions then about the Unit 4 progress check.
Sorry, I have a question. I just couldn't unmute my mic. That was
Yeah, no, you're good.
Of my life.
Please.
So for the graphs and things like that, because sometimes it's like ask us to point out things in the graph.
Yes.
We have to draw the graph.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How good of a drawing does it have to be? Because sometimes I feel like I spend way too much time drawing it, or I don't spend enough and it doesn't look anything like it. And I don't know.
Yeah, Alice, that's a great question. And the answer is we don't need to worry about it. I totally forgot to mention this to you. So guys, please hear this. On the test that we're taking next week, there will be no drawing. There will be no graphs. You could be given a graph, but you won't be asked to draw a graph. You won't be asked, you know, like that one graph where we had to put an X where the bond was the strongest. We don't have to do any of that because there's no way for us to submit that by typing or copy and pasting. And as a result, there will be no drawing pictures. There will be no graphing on the test. Okay, so if you see questions like that in the practice, it's not bad to think about those relative to practice because we will be asked to interpret those things, but it'll never happen through drawing. That's a great question. Guys, other things to talk about? We all good?
I actually have something really quick.
Please.
So Bailey told me that today was Ella's birthday. Is that right?
Oh, Ella. Hold on. I'm going to stop screen sharing for this one. Ella, where are you at? She went dark. Should we just assume it is?
Sure.
What do you suggest we do, Jason?
I suggest we leave her a nice note.
Oh, see, I thought you were going to say sing happy birthday, which...
Well, if she's not responding, then there's no point.
That's a good point.
All
right, everybody bomb Ella with birthday wishes. Guys, are we good? So let me just ask, was that helpful? Do you feel better about, and I know this is just an open-ended question, do you feel better about taking these tests? Okay, please ask questions. I know that I'm hearing from other people that students are feeling like their AP teachers have gone dark, that they're not getting the support that they need, which is why I tried to make that not just specific to our test, but about tests in general. So if you find yourself getting stuck, on any of your tests, please let me know. I have access to some resources and I'd love to support you. So, guys, anything else? We okay? Okay, guys, I'm feeling super good about what we're doing. I feel like we understand the test. I feel like we have a plan moving forward. I know that the review that we're doing is right on point. Guys, I'm feeling great about this. So we've got another 3 or 4 days of review. If you want to explore some of those green dot questions on your own, not a horrible idea if you want more support. But guys, I think we're doing great. So keep it up. Let me know if I can help more in the future. And I'll look forward to seeing you guys Wednesday. Okay, peace out, you guys. I'm going to stop recording and I'm going to shut the meeting down. Good to see you all. Take care, you guys.
Miss